But to start out, I'd like to talk about your top 3 young core.
This has been Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly ball business.
Strictly ball business.
I like that video.
Should we spend, what do you think? The whole video talking about all 6 possible teams, or we might have the same list? Who knows?
Yeah, I definitely think we might have 2 overlapping. I think there's and now that it's 25 and under, a lot of teams are moved on. Like the Celtics, Jaylen Brown's not 25 anymore. Like they're not considered young, as Celtics have been our young core for how long now? But now they just don't.
They're
fit the
established
young
now.
core. Yeah, they're established. I'll start with my third team. You know, it's the Magic. I love the Magic. I think so. Because they wouldn't be on this list if it wasn't for Paolo, obviously. Obviously, he's the clear, number 1. But you got guys like Michael Carter Jr. and Franz Wagner, who have just came out as, these guys are definitely going to be 20-point-per-game scorers or fringe all-stars for the rest of their career, I think. They're all great. They got Fultz, who's awesome. Bull's the unicorn. We got Suggs. We got Anthony. I didn't include Bamba because I don't think he's going to be that great, but they have all those young guys, and that's we're to the point where I'm watching this next draft. I'm like, honestly, fight for a play-in. I want to see how we we have the young core. Bringing in another guy would just mix things up, and we also have Jonathan Isaac coming back, maybe coming back. So I just think they have so much good quality young core players that have so much potential. That's what puts them into 3. I think they have the most potential.
Yeah, they certainly have a lot of potential, and could certainly see them making some damage in the playoffs and the league as a whole, maybe in 2 years, maybe even next year. But I just haven't seen enough from them at this point to call them a top 3 young core. There's other great young cores that have just been doing more at this point, but that's just because they have older young players still. Yeah, they're young, but Paolo is a rookie, and who knows what he'll look like in the next couple of years, because he already looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt Paolo's going to be a superstar. It's, we just haven't seen to the level of I know Franz Wagner's definitely, he's going to be a star. I think he's going to be more than a fringe all-star. Carter Jr. and Fultz, I think those two, I don't think we've seen this much young core with guys like that. Oh, and Bull. Those are all guys I can see scoring 17, 15, 16 plus in this league. So I can't think back to a time, maybe the Lakers young core when they had Lonzo, Kuzma, BI, but this young and clear superstar with guys that are already going to come out and of their own that they've draft except for Bull. They didn't draft Bull, but that they have that can turn into those type players.
Yeah, I definitely think having a rebuilding team like this gives you an opportunity to give guys like Bull, more of a long leash and see what he's got. And boy, does he have something. I think certainly he could build with this team. And they have a lot of size overall. I think eventually they might have to cut down the trees a little bit. But for now, you got a lot of athletic wings. We'll see how far that takes you. We'll at least go through this season and see which ones you really like. I don't really understand if Mo Bamba has a spot on this team long term, but certainly excited about these other young guys that they've started to bring in, like Franz, especially.
Yeah, definitely. But who did you have at 3?
My number 3 spot, I'm glad you asked. I had the New Orleans Pelicans. We're at the number 3 spot in the conference right now. Zion is only 22 years old. Ingram is 25, so right on the cusp there, but still a young buck. Mm-hmm. Herb Jones, 24. They've got Jose Alvarado's in his second year. Just a lot of solid role players here, which you need for either, a championship, or if you're going to trade them down the road for another star-like player. Either way, having those types of assets and being able to draft consistently like that is going to pay off.
No, yeah, definitely. They certainly obviously have 2 superstars, which is crazy to see. I do think they do have as young cores go, they have great. I just think Trey Murphy, you love him. He's great. He's just more of a he's gonna has a select role, but Zion. Sure. Yeah, Zion definitely superstar. I think he's gonna be a top probably a top 5 player in this league at some point. A Bi, I think Bi has peaked. We've seen where he's going to be, and that's great. That's an all-star. I think he can be a number 2 on a championship team, and I think Zion can be a number 1. Clearly, they just need to build a team around that, and I think they're pretty set. They have the hardest part of a rebuild, which is getting your first and second guys. Just they got to do it, get to the playoffs
team.
and do it.
Yeah, they have a great team now. So I think that's only going to help the rebuild out. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this Pelicans team has those stars, like you said, it's the hardest part to find. And they're still so young. Eventually, when these old guys get out of the league, we're just going to gravitate more to this Pelicans team as they continue to pile on winning seasons. And, you know, I love their personalities here. I think like this is a very likable team. They have a young coach too. I mean, a former player who was really not like a star himself. I think he gets a easy time probably connecting to everybody on the bench that way.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always those role players that come out to be the best type of coaches. So yeah, Willie Green, he's doing a great job. I mean, he could jump into the running for Coach of the Year already. I mean, this guy's doing pretty well too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think. I think it's between him and Joe Mazzulla and Mike Malone. Maybe maybe give Taylor Jenkins some consideration too.
Yeah, always Taylor Jenkins and JB Bickerstaff too. He's doing a great job. We'll see. Clearly, we're halfway through the season, so we'll see as it gets in more. But how about 2? Who'd you have for 2? Let's hear your second.
My number 2 was the Memphis Grizzlies.
Same here.
Yeah, is that who you had number 2? Yeah. I mean, obviously, a very young team. John Morant is 23. Jaren Jackson is a great player too. Obviously, Desmond Bane is looking like a potential star in the making. Maybe he can get to that Brandon Ingram level. I'd like to see that, but who knows? And then outside of that, they've got some solid role players. Brandon Clark's a good player. Although I think he might be past the young buck age.
Nope, he's he's not. Brandon Clark is not. That's right.
Yeah. I feel like they got one. Who's the one of?
Yeah. All they had was so all they have for young guys. It's Morant, Bane, Jaren Jackson, and Zaire Williams.
Oh, Zaire Williams. Yeah, I mean he's another guy with some potential, but definitely John Morant's carrying this team, so he's kind of a superstar right now over there.
Oh yeah, and I mean I think the improvement we wanted to see out of Bane this year wasn't made by Bane necessarily, but Jaren Jackson. He's had a huge year. He's looking like could be a defensive player of the year candidate. I mean, they're third best defense in the league, and I think he's the biggest part of that. He's the best defensive player on the floor, along with Zaire Williams. So, who's good? Obviously, Steven Adams is a great vet to have around these guys, and you can see the impact he's made.
For a vet, I mean, he still isn't even 30 yet, so still a young guy himself.
Yeah, 29. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's kind of crazy that they passed up Pat Bev because he would have been perfect for these young guys. Imagine his effect on what these guys would have been.
Yeah, I mean, when they made that trade, I guess they hadn't had a winning season yet. So they made the trade for Jarrett Culver thinking, okay, we're not giving up anything that we already had on our team. We're just flipping Beverly, who we just got in a different trade. And, you know, we're going to get Jarrett Culver out of it, who we think has still some potential to be a, top 5 pick talent, which they clearly just didn't watch enough Timberwolves games is what I'm thinking. And, I mean, Pat Bev would have made a lot of sense on this team as they're, they could use that type of veteran voice. Not necessarily that they need it, but always helps. And a good backup point guard definitely helps too. He's cheaper than Tyus, who is a fine player, but I mean, if you're going to have Ja injured every now and then too, I mean, you got to have multiple serviceable guys.
Yeah, I mean, the Timberwolves figured it out, and they were already set with their guards when they made the trade for him, so wouldn't have been that big. But so first, I'm super curious who you had as your first.
My first, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, yeah, we're on the same page. Got it. Yeah, we're both right. How do you say no though? After what just happened, what Don did.
Yeah, and he's, technically out of our young core range here. He's at 26, but obviously he's still very young at that age. dropped 71.
Yeah.
He's somehow the veteran on this team. Darius Garland is a fantastic player coming into his own each year. He's just so confident. And Evan Mobley, who hit a game-winning shot the other day off of a Donovan Mitchell pass, and he really is good in the mid-range game. So
Yeah.
I really like what I'm seeing.
Exactly. Allen's great. Garland, Mobley, who I think Mobley's the potential is just out of the ceiling for this guy. This guy's he could be better than Gobert. Better than Gobert defensively, but so much better offensively. This guy can have. I think he can be a third scoring option while being the best defensive player of the year. Much like Dwight Howard was
that'd be
for the Magic.
incredible. See if it happens. I mean, I think he definitely has the talent. I think it's hard to keep it up on both sides consistently,
Mhm.
but
That's what she said.
you know, his type of shot, like it looks good for a big man, and I think like that's gonna in the end pay off offensively enough where he can be efficient and he doesn't need to put up an insane amount of shots to be effective.
Yeah, no, exactly. And Isaac Okoro's starting to turn it around this year. I mean, he's hit a 3, but no, defensively he's much needed. And Karis LeVert's also a really young guy. That's he's outside of the range too, but he's a big part of this team and coming off the bench and or kind of filling in where needed when Darius. Darius Garland misses a lot of time, so Karis gets put in a lot. So it's nice. All in all, they have like a highest level of talent there. It's great.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's exciting to see a team succeed post LeBron. So it's not very common because they usually get eviscerated when he leaves.
Yeah, they all great trades. I mean,
Real quick.
yeah, all great trades. Like, I mean, they drafted Mobley, but Mitchell they got in a trade. Darius Garland, they got it was the Lakers pick, and then obviously Jared Allen. I think and. They drafted Isaac Okoro, but they did not draft Karis LeVert, obviously. So they traded for a lot of them, too, and they just made great moves. And somehow retained Kevin Love, too.
Well, and they got Donovan Mitchell at a more than reasonable package than what the Wolves gave up, for example, for Gobert. But because they had Colin Sexton, who they drafted, and they were able to include him in trade.
Yeah.
You know, if they didn't include him, they would have had to give up more picks for sure.
For sure. But that was our top 3 young core. Who are your guys' top 3 young core? Comment that below. Let us know. Did you guys like that video? I like that video. Just comment, like, and subscribe.